1 United States. $18.62 trillion per capita. The United States of America is a country primarily located in North America. It consists of 50 states, a federal district, 5 major unincorporated territories, 326 Indian reservations, and 9 minor outlying islands. At nearly 3.8 million square miles, it is the world's 4th largest country by land area and 3rd largest by total area. The United States shares land and maritime borders with Canada to the north and Mexico to the south, as well as maritime borders with the Bahamas, Cuba, and Russia. With more than 331 million people, it is the 3rd most populous country in the world. The national capital is Washington, D.C., and the most populous city and financial center is New York City. The United States has a capitalist economy. The country has rich mineral resources, with many gold, coal, and uranium deposits. Farming makes the country among the top producers of corn, maize, wheat, sugar, and tobacco. Housing contributes about 15% to the gross domestic product of the United States. America produces cars, airplanes, and electronics. About 3/4 of Americans work in the service industry. The social structure of the United States has a big range. This means that some Americans are much richer than others. The average income for an American was $37,000 a year in 2002. However, the richest 1% of Americans have as much money as the poorest 90%. To China. $11.22 trillion per capita. China is a country in East Asia. It is the world's most populous country, with a population of more than 1.4 billion. China spans 5 geographical time zones and borders 14 countries, the second most of any country in the world after Russia. Covering an area of approximately 9.6 million square kilometers, it is the world's 3rd or 4th largest country. The country consists of 23 provinces, 5 autonomous regions, 4 municipalities, and 2 special administrative regions, Hong Kong and Macau. The national capital is Beijing and the largest city is Shanghai. China's constitution states that the People's Republic of China is a socialist state under the People's Democratic Dictatorship led by the working class and based on the alliance of workers and peasants. It also states the state organs apply the principle of democratic centralism. The PRC is one of the world's only socialist states openly being communist. China was once a world leader in science and technology up until the Ming Dynasty. There are many ancient Chinese discoveries and inventions. For example, paper making, printing, the compass, and gunpowder are known as the 4 great inventions. They became widespread across East Asia, the Middle East, and later to Europe. Chinese mathematicians were the first to use negative numbers. By the 17th century, Europe and the Western world became better than China in science and technology. 3. Japan. $4.94 trillion per capita. Japan is a country in East Asia. It is a group of many islands close to the east coast of Korea, China, and Russia. The Pacific Ocean is to the east of Japan and the Sea of Japan is to the west. Most people in Japan live on one of the 4 islands. The biggest of these islands, Honshu, has the most people. Honshu is the 7th largest island in the world. Tokyo is the capital of Japan and its biggest city. The Japanese people call their country Nihon or Nippon, which means the origin of the sun in Japanese. Japan is a monarchy whose head of state is called the emperor. Japan is the oldest monarchy in the world, lasting more than 2000 years. The ruling party and the prime minister is Fumio Kishida. The legislature of Japan is called the National Diet. Japan is the 11th most populous country in the world, as well as one of the most densely populated and urbanized. About 3/4 of the country's terrain is mountainous, concentrating its population of 125.5 million on narrow coastal plains. Japan is divided into 47 administrative prefectures and 8 traditional regions. The Greater Tokyo area is the most populous metropolitan area in the world, with more than 37.4 million residents. 4. Germany. $3.48 trillion per capita. Germany, officially the Federal Republic of Germany, is a country in Central Europe. The country's full name is sometimes shortened to the FRG. To the north of Germany are the North and Baltic Seas, and the Kingdom of Denmark. To the east of Germany are the countries of Poland and the Czech Republic. To the south of Germany are the countries of Austria and Switzerland. To the west of Germany are the countries of France, Luxembourg, Belgium, and the Netherlands. The total area of Germany is 357,021 square kilometers. The large majority of Germany has warm summers and cold winters. In March 2021, Germany had a population of 83.1 million people, the largest in Europe, excluding Russia. After the United States, Germany is the second most popular country for migration in the world. Germany has one of the world's largest technologically powerful economies. Bringing West and East Germany together and making their economy work is still taking a long time and costing a lot of money. Germany is the largest economy in Europe and the fourth largest in the world by nominal gross domestic product (GDP). In September 2011, the inflation rate in Germany was 2.5%. The unemployment rate of Germany was 5.5% as of October 2011. Germany is one of the G8 countries. The main industry area is the Ruhr area. The country has companies like BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Audi, Porsche, Siemens, Bosch, SAP, etc. Nearly all German companies are small or medium-sized. 5. United Kingdom. $2.65 trillion per capita. The United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, or simply the United Kingdom, UK, is a sovereign country in Western Europe. It is a constitutional monarchy that is made up of 4 separate countries: England, Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland. It is a member of the United Nations, the Commonwealth, NATO, the G8 and formerly the EU. It had the 6th largest economy in the world by nominal GDP in 2019. The United Kingdom is a developed country with the 6th largest economy in the world. It was a superpower during the 18th, 19th and early 20th century and was considered since the early 1800s to be the most powerful and influential nation in the world, in politics, economics, for it was the wealthiest country at the time, and in military strength. Britain continued to be the biggest manufacturing economy in the world until 1908 and the largest economy until the 1920s. The economic cost of 2 world wars and the decline of the British Empire in the 1950s and 1960s reduced its leading role in global affairs. The United Kingdom has strong economic, cultural, military and political influence and is a nuclear power. The United Kingdom holds a permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council and is a member of the G8, NATO, World Trade Organization and the Commonwealth of Nations. The city of London, in the capital, is famous for being the largest center of finance in the world. 6. France. $2.47 trillion per capita. France is a country whose metropolitan territory is in Western Europe and that also includes various overseas islands and territories in other continents. Metropolitan France extends from the Mediterranean Sea to the English Channel and the North Sea, and from the Rhine to the Atlantic Ocean. It is often referred to as El Hexagon, the hexagon because of the shape of its territory. France is a unitary semi-presidential republic with its main ideals expressed in the Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen. France is a member of the G8 group of leading industrialized countries. France has the 8th largest economy in the world by gross domestic product, which takes into account how much it costs to live in different countries and inflation rates. France and 11 other European Union members jointly launched the euro on 1 January 1999 and started using it in 2002. France's economy has nearly 2.9 million registered companies. The government has a considerable influence over railway, electricity, aircraft, and telecommunications firms, as it owns big companies like SNCF and EDF, French Electricity. France has an important aerospace, design of aircraft and spacecraft industry led by Airbus. It can also launch rockets from French Guiana. France has invested a lot in nuclear power. This made France the smallest producer of carbon dioxide among the 7 most industrialized countries in the world. As a result, 59 nuclear power plants generate most of the electricity produced in the country. France is the leading agricultural producer and exporter in Europe. France exports wheat, poultry, dairy products, beef, and pork. It is also famous for its wine industry. France received 10 billion euros in 2006 from the European Community as subsidies to its farmers. 7. India. $2.26 trillion per capita. India, officially the Republic of India, is a country in South Asia. It is the 7th largest country by area, the 2nd most populous country, and the most populous democracy in the world. India has become a fast-growing major economy and a hub for information technology services, with an expanding middle class. It has a space program which includes several planned or completed extraterrestrial missions. Indian movies, music, and spiritual teachings play an increasing role in global culture. India has substantially reduced its rate of poverty, though at the cost of increasing economic inequality. India is a nuclear weapon state, which ranks high in military expenditure. It has disputes over Kashmir with its neighbors, Pakistan and China, unresolved since the mid-20th century. Among the socio-economic challenges India faces are gender inequality, child malnutrition, and rising levels of air pollution. India's land is megadiverse, with 4 biodiversity hotspots. Its forest cover comprises 21.7% of its area. India's wildlife, which has traditionally been viewed with tolerance in India's culture, is supported among these forests and elsewhere in protected habitats. According to a 2011 PricewaterhouseCoopers (PwC) report, India's GDP at purchasing power parity could overtake that of the United States by 2045. During the next 4 decades, Indian GDP is expected to grow at an annualized average of 8%, making it potentially the world's fastest-growing major economy until 2050. The report highlights key growth factors: a young and rapidly growing working-age population, growth in the manufacturing sector because of rising education and engineering skill levels, and sustained growth of the consumer market driven by a rapidly growing middle class. The World Bank cautions that, for India to achieve its economic potential, it must continue to focus on public sector reform, transport infrastructure, agricultural and rural development, removal of labor regulations, education, energy security, and public health and nutrition.